Thank you very much, Juguna. I can see it's like he has some challenges with his audio. And I don't think I'm going to belabor much. I'll just invite our technical person, Mr. Hilary Isanya, to take us through the reporting system to show us how we are.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Hilary. And there is a lot of background noise. I don't know whether it's coming from your end. Karibu sana, Hilary, you can start us off. Today, the business is very, very clear, and we are hoping that we are not going to have any technical challenges like the last time. I know we are going to be good, and we are going to do it the best way we can. So, karibu sana, Hilary. And also, before Hilary comes on board, maybe Daniel, you can say hi to the participants, and you identify yourself because you'll be our key person when we have challenges in reporting online. Karibu.
Good morning. My name is Daniel Njuna. I work at the National Council for Persons with Disabilities, and I'm here to provide support in case of any challenges. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Over to you, Hilary, so that you can take us through what you have for us. Yeah, and I want to reiterate that in case you have any question, you can use the question and answer and put your name in our chat box, your name and organization. Karibu. Waja ni wako, Hilary.
Good morning once again. Kimingi.
Daniel, maybe you can unmute Isanya so that you can be together.
Enda share.
Mr. Isonya, are you okay?
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Thank you.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to start. Let me go to the login screen before I start explaining. So for you to access the portal, you have to be given an account by the system administrator. So you have to write to National Council for Persons with Disabilities requesting for account to be created for your organization or MDA, so that the administrator can create for you account and you will be able to log into the account. For the purpose of this session, I'm going to create an account for National Council for Persons with Disability. Then we'll be using that account for the demo purpose. So I'm going to log into the system as administrator, then create account for National Council for Persons with Disability, so that we use that account for the demo purpose. So I'm going to create account. First, for account to be created, you have to specify the type of the organization. If it's an agency, commission, county assembly, county government, independent offices, ministry, public university, or state department or state parastatal. So for the purpose of them, I'm going to use this one. Then you will put the organization name, like National Council for Persons with Disability. Then organization email. So I'm going to use one of my emails for the purpose of the demo. Then the postal address for that organization. It's within Nairobi region. County, it's still in Nairobi. Then you specify the sector. If it's a commercial or manufacturing, if it's a financial or a regulatory. For the purpose of the demo, I'm going to use a service. Then organization abbreviation. It's NCPWD. Contact person, like I'm going to use Daniel Njuguna. Then his telephone. For the purpose of the demo, let me use this one. Then the contact email, let me also use my email. Then you click create. So that is how the accounts are created by administrator. So for your organization to log into the portal, you have to request account to be created for you by writing an official letter to National Council for Persons with Disability. Once an account has been created for you, you will use the email which you will have specified in the letter, and you will be given a default password of 123456. So once you have been given your account details, you'll be able to log into your account or your portal, and you will see a number of functions which you can perform on the portal. The employment module, the program.
It's like we have lost Hirari. Hirari, are you still with us? Thank you. Hirari, if we can't hear you, the sound is down. Hirari. You're muted. Daniel, kindly unmute Hirari if he's muted. Actually, you are muted, Hirari.
Are you able to hear?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. So I'm
Yeah.
going to go back to user module. User module is used to add users to the system. So to add a user, you click add new user, where you will specify the user full names, his email address, telephone number, the branch. By default, you are given main or headquarters, password, and you confirm the password. Branch is used for those organizations which have more than one branches. Maybe like KRA, which have several branches. Maybe we have a branch in Nairobi and a branch in Eldoret or a branch in Mombasa. I will explain more on branch when we will be doing the procurement and the employment module. So I'm going to try to add a member for National Council for Persons with Disability as a new user into this account. Maybe let me add Jen. Then I will give her a temporary email, maybe jen@ncpwd.go.ke. Then telephone number. Let me again use my telephone number. The branch I'm going to assign as the main, and I will give her the main a password for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I will confirm the password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's telling me email address is already taken. So I've successfully created her account. So that's how to create the account for a particular user for your MDA. Then once the account has been created, you can reset their passwords in case they forget their password. And you can also edit their details. So I'm not going much into password reset and edit. Then I will go to PC targets. PC targets are performance targets. So at PC target module, you can set the target.
We get account.
To set the target, actually, when you click set the target, the system will load the targets that have been set for that given financial year. So for the year 2021-2022, National Council for Persons with Disability has 7 targets, which have been loaded on the system. So on each of the targets, you'll have to fill each of the fields. The first field for each of the target is expected output, where you will have to input what is the expected output for that particular target, the activity that will involve that particular indicator. Then we have the performance indicator for that particular target. Then we have the type of the resource which you will need, who will be the actors, and the budget that your MDA has allocated to that PC. Then have the implementation time frame. You will have to specify if you are implementing it within the first quarter and maybe during second quarter. You have to check both of the two. But if you are just implementing it within the first quarter, you just check the first quarter. And if that target will be implemented in all the 4 quarters, you have to check all the 4 quarters, so that each of the quarter you will be saying, at this quarter we did this and this to achieve this target. So that is one way of setting those targets.
Mr.
Yes?
Isanya, before
Yeah.
you continue, there is a question someone has from rural electrification.
Yeah.
Is asking whether you can have more than one contact person who will be managing the account.
Actually, by default, we will give each of the MDA an admin account.
Okay.
Admin will have the privilege of adding more users, but a maximum of 3 users who will be accessing their account. So they can add, but they have a maximum of 3 users.
Okay, Emily Wasonga and someone from rural electrification. Your question has been answered. Yes, continue, Isanya.
So let me continue. So I had explained on how to set the targets. So that is, you have to click at targets, then go to set the target. But you realize filling these targets, it might be a hectic job, and sometimes we might experience power failure, internet. So we had to come up with a way we can remedy that situation, whereby we allow you to prepare an Excel. Then once the Excel is well prepared, you can just import it into the system, so that you just have to confirm whatever is in the Excel has been correctly inputted into the system and submit. Because you might spend almost 3 days filling what I've shared. So I'm not going to fill it. I am going to go to the import, where we can import those targets from a predefined document into the system and then just submit them. So when you click on import, you will be taken to this screen whereby there's a place, the point number 4, where we are saying please. Where we are saying please download the import template from the download link. When you click on it, it will be downloaded. Then you will have to fill the template. After you fill the template, then you can now go back and import it into the system. So the template has the target for this financial year. You will just have to input
Hirare, we can't hear you. Hilary?
Maybe Jane, you can be answering the questions on the Q&A as Hilary is sorting himself out. We have a few questions on the Q&A.
Okay, I will do that. And before I even do that, Anne Meriti is asking, please clarify how to register in the NCPWD career portal. And you just need to write a request letter to the email address provided, the ncpwd at fuzu.com. And there's another person who had asked whether there are two different portals. Yes, we have the portal on reporting that is solely for reporting purposes. You put your evidences as Isanya will show us. And for the career portal, this one is dedicated for the employment of persons with disabilities, where the employer yourself now, as an MDA and that candidate with a disability, you meet and the candidate gets a job from you. From the Q&A, Emily Wesonga, that one I answered. Robert, who are the actors? Is it staff or officers in the MDA? Robert Bolter, your question is not very clear. The people who are going to be reporting, you'll have a maximum, as Isanya had said, you'll have a maximum of 3. One will be the administrator, then they can invite those other people. Lilian Odipo. For rural, for Lilian Odipo is saying we didn't hear the answer to question from rural electrification due to sound interference. Please type. That is what I hope you're hearing me well. That is what we are saying, that you can have more than one person. You will have the administrator who can invite the rest, but you can only go up to a maximum of 3 people. I hope you're able to hear. Do we submit our annual plan on this reporting portal? Yes, you can. For account creation, you can write to DMD at ncpwd. I'm putting it in the chat box, .go.ke, and give a copy to D Moturi at ncpwd.go.ke and j.wamugu at ncpwd.go.ke. It's in the chat box. Give us a few seconds to see what is happening to Mr. Isanya, since he has, I can see he's on, but we can't hear him. Robert Bolter, you're saying on the reporting portal, Isanya indicated that we report on actors in our implementation matrix. He's going to explain on that when he's back. We submit our annual work plan on this reporting portal. Yes, you can. It can be part of the evidences. Do you have plans to sensitize HR officers for MDAs on the FUSO portal? We usually have what we call an onboarding. That is WOBA. We usually have an onboarding every Thursdays, and we are going to extend the time for onboarding after Thursday's onboarding, and Thursday will be the 30th. I can see Isanya is back. Welcome, Isanya.
Thank you. So I realized I lost you people. I don't know, because I've just been explaining. So I don't know where you people were lost. Well, so let me repeat on submitting the quarterly targets. So to submit quarterly target, you go to the PC targets module, then go to mainstreaming quarterly report. Then on quarterly report, you will have to select the financial year, then the quarter which you want to submit the target for. For example, I had done for quarter 1, so I'm going to do for quarter 2. Then you load whatever you people had promised to do during quarter 2. So you will say whether the target was implemented, you check yes. If it was not, you say no. So I'm going to take yes for everything for this demo. Then you will have to give the supporting evidence or document. So I'm going maybe to say appointment. Appointment letter maybe was given. Then I will have to attach that appointment letter. Then you have to input remark. Maybe you say who was appointed, or you give just a short remark on that and how it was achieved. Similar thing to the point number 2. You will always have to give a supporting document. For all, let me just use a appointment letter and browse maybe for that letter. And also note, the letter must be in a PDF format. You don't accept Word or Excel documents. You have to convert your letter to PDF format. Then once you have filled, you will have to press the complete button so that you can submit the target to the council for the purpose of review. So that's about submitting the quarterly targets. Then, once the targets have been submitted to the council will be able to see what you have submitted, and they will have to review it. After they have reviewed it, it will be reported back to you, and you will receive an email notification. At the same time, your dashboard will start showing whatever percentage you have scored during that given quarter. But I'm not going to log into the admin portal. I'm going to complete first I'm going to do the procurement and employment module. Then later on, after admin has reviewed, I will also come to log to the account so that you can see where you can see how you have been performing. So allow me to continue with the procurement module. On the procurement module, the module is used to report for the tenders you people are awarding persons with disability. So you will have to input for us the financial year you awarded that tender, then the quarter, then you will have to give us the registration number for the company that has been given that tender. So I'm going to borrow a company number from from the tenders portal. So I'm still waiting so that I can get one of the suppliers registration number. Jen, could you be having any company registration number you assist me? Any person with a available company registration number? Company yote. PGT is a company registration number. It's not loading. So it seems to be taking a lot of time to get the company registration number, but I'm looking for one. But after I'm looking for one, then I will have to skip the module to continue with the next module, so that once I have a company registration number, I will revisit the procurement module. So on the employment module, it is used to report the number of persons with disability your organization has employed by financial year. So for when you go to the module, you have to select the financial year the person was employed. You will have to give us the employment number for only the national registration number for that person, then the sex of that person, the age group, if the person is below 35 to 59, CDC and above, you have to specify, and again the date of employment for that person, the job group, and the qualification for that person. So I'm going to, let me try putting one of the numbers. So once you have the National Council for Persons with Disability registration number for a particular person, you input the number, then you validate. It will fill for you the other details for that person. The only details which you will have to fill is the sex for that person. Like this one is Washira, is a male. Then you specify the age bracket, maybe below that 5 years. When did you employ that person? Maybe you employed him on 1st of September. Job group, maybe, let me pick maybe J. Qualification, maybe it's a degree. Then you so I'm going also to add another person so that we have like two. You have to click add new record, to specify the financial year, the number for that person, like 235,000. 100. Then you validate. Once you validate, it will validate against our database for registration. Then it will populate for you the other details for that person. You specify the gender, maybe she's a female. You specify the age bracket above 60. When you employed her, the job group, and the qualification. Maybe that person has a master's. So as you can see, once you create, the submit status is always pending. It means pending will allow you to edit the detail for that person in case you put it with an error. But in case it doesn't have an error, when you go to action, you have submit, where you can submit in case you have verified that the information you have captured is well captured. So when you click submit, it will submit for review at the National Council for Persons with Disability. So I'm going to submit this one. So you will have to confirm. Time, I think because of my internet connectivity, but it should just redirect immediately. So as you can see, the first one which I clicked submit, status has turned to submitted. Once it will be reviewed, its status will turn to reviewed. But in case you have several people and you just want to submit them once, when you go to employment module, we have pending submission. There it will always load for you those that are still pending, because you might have inputted them and you have forgotten to submit. When you go to that module, it will list for you all the employees who you have not submitted their details. So you will select whoever you want to submit. If you don't want to submit a person, you will have to uncheck. But if you want to submit, you check, then you click submit. So now they have been submitted for review by the council. So that is about the employment module. It is as simple as that. Then allow me to go back to procurement, which you had issues for getting a company registration number. So I'm going to use one of the companies there. Let me use this one. So I'm going to take 2021, 2022. Then maybe I'm reporting for Q1 is when you were awarded that tender. Then you will have to validate.
Mr. Isanya, we are stuck on the list of persons with disabilities employed. I don't know whether it is myself or, oh, I can see another person saying the screen is not moving. So we are still stuck. Yeah, we are still stuck on the employment where you have populated.
On the employment?
Yes.
Let me check my internet because I'm on the procurement. Is it still out in the employment?
Yeah, we are still stuck. as Isanya comes back, maybe we could be looking at the questions. We were only first, you are talking about you're not through with the work plan submission. We are going to relook at that one. Isanya comes back. And Isanya, you can tell me when you're ready so that you can continue. The onboarding from that piece is from Jane Joki. The onboarding training done every Thursday. Does it always take care of only those who have never been trained? Or is it a continuing process? If it is continuous, how do you bring the new entrants up to speed with others? It's not, it's a one-off onboarding. So, but if someone feels that they have not been able to understand exactly, they can get in touch with me and I would be able to give them the link for the next onboarding. Then what if due to unavoidable circumstances, e.g. availability of funds, you're not able to carry out activities in quarter 1 or quarter 2, but you do them in quarter 3 and quarter 4. There are those activities that have a timeline, but they must be done. The rest, it will be according to your work plan. So that is what is going to show us what you needed to do. Robert Borta, your question, I'll let it pen so that we can be guided by Mr. Isanya. And Mr. Isanya, when you're ready, you can tell me.
I'm ready.
Okay, okay. So thank you. You can continue.
So I'm on the procurement module. Are you able to see my screen? Or is it still hanging?
No, you're not hanging. You are ad tender awarded to persons with disabilities details. That is where we are supposed to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So once you are on the ad tender awarded to PWD details, you specify the financial year, the quarter you are reporting for, and then you have to input the company business registration number. So I was using the one for so once you have inputted the business registration number, you have to validate so that we can get its director. Then you have to space, it will give us even the company name once you click validation. Then you have to input the ACPO number, if the company has ACPO number. Then the tender number, which you awarded them, like I'll say maybe tender 001. Then the tender amount, how much was there? Tender maybe like 50,000. Then you input tender description, maybe supply of staff, airtime. Then the final part of the procurement module, you have to input to give us the gender of the directors of those companies, because you are not given their gender, so you will have to do it manually. Then you specify who among those directors is living with disability. Maybe if it is Aden Ali Abdi, then you give us the number, his registration number at the council, maybe it's PWD, then followed by the number like 78 900. Then the category of the disability, the guy has maybe like blind. So if it's only Abdi who is living with disability, you click create. So similar to the employment module, its status will always be pending, so that in case you want to correct it, you can edit the details from the action. But if everything is correct, you just submit. So I'm going to assume everything is correct. and submit. And again, let me explain. There is this green button which you can click to see the director of that particular company which you awarded the tender. But if you can minimize it by clicking again the red button. But if everything is correct, you submit. So now its status is submitted, meaning it's pending review by the council. So that is about procurement module. It's as simple. You just input the tenders which you have awarded persons living with disability and submit it for review. Then the final module is the programs module, whereby you report the programs that are involving persons with disability in your organization. And as always, you have to start with, you specify the financial year, the quarter the program was carried in, the program name. I will repeat using maybe like it was like tree planting. Then participation type. If the person participated as an individual or as an organization. If it's an organization, we'll have to give us the organization name and the organization PWD number. Then the number of PWD male participants who attended, like 2, female 3. Then the system will automatically know that they were 5. Then for organization, let me fill like test organization. And then we have the number PWD. Organization, I'm told is O. Then you give the suffix of the registration number. Then we will have to attach for us signed signature for those persons who attended who are with disabilities. So for the purpose of the demo, I'm going to scroll for, I'm going to look for a PDF. So the system only accepts PDF. If you input Word, the system will reject. Then you click create. Upon successful creation, you are always brought to the pending list, which gives you the leeway for either updating the details in case you have inputted an error or submitting for review by the council. And again, this one, you can view the supporting document you have attached to it. So that is the document I attached. So you can preview so that in case it is a wrong document, you can update the document. So that's about the programs module. And lastly, we have the Mda profile, where they can update their profile. So like this one, each of the Mda will have to give us their parent ministry. So I'm going to assume that PWD is found under the Ministry of Health. Then you specify.
We are under Ministry of Labor.
You are under Ministry of Labor.
And Social Protection.
Let me look for Ministry of Labor. This one. For Ministry of Labor, Labor and Social Protection.
Yes.
Then you give us the institution abbreviation, the sector, if you are in service, or if you are in regulatory, but you have to specify the sector. Then the location details, the conduct details. You have to input the telephone number. Then your official website. So let me copy paste this one. and then you confirm that the details you are providing are accurate, and you click finish. So that is about the MDA account. And as you can see from the dashboard, they have a total of 3 users. They have given 1 tender. Then they have a total of 2 employees living with disability. They have 1 program. Then from the graphs, actually we do not have their scores because their scores will appear once it has been reviewed by the council. It's when the graphs will draw. Then have report pending submission. Actually, this one is used to ensure that in case you have anything that is pending submission, whenever you log into the portal, you are alerted that you need to submit it so that you don't default. For example, I've just realized I have 1 program that I have not submitted for review. So if you click on the report name, it's going to list for you that particular entity that you have not submitted. So when I come here, I will have to click submit. So if I go back to my dashboard, everything now should be 00. But if you have anything that you have not submitted, it will always, the number will always be listed on the number pending. So I'm going, for the purpose of seeing how the evaluation is done, I'm going to log in as the council and then evaluate the first quarter and the second quarter for this entity. So to evaluate, I will go to submitted quarterly targets, which will list for me all the targets that have been submitted and are still pending. So as you can see, we submitted for quarter 1 and quarter 2. So I will start with quarter 1. I will go to review. So under review, I'm able to see what was submitted. This was the expected output, the activities they are stated that the target will involve. Then they say that it was implemented. And as you can see, there is this icon for PDF. When you click on it, you can view the document because that was their supporting document. Let us wait for it to load. So they are able to see the supporting document which you attached on your report. Then they will decide the marks they are going to award you depending on whatever you will have submitted. So if they are satisfied, they can give you to maybe 2.0 because the maximum they can give you is 2.5 because that is the maximum you can score on that particular quarter. Then they will give some remarks, maybe excellent. Then maybe they go for the second one. They will go peruse through, also view your supporting document. If they are satisfied, they will give you the marks, and then it is marked as review. So now we are remaining with quarter 2. So let us also review for quarter 2. So quarter 2, they had 3 activities. Then that one, let me give them 7. 4. Actually, the marks are awarded based on the evidence and whatever you people have submitted. So once the council has reviewed your targets, you will receive an email notification telling you that your targets have been reviewed, and you will see the marks you have been given. Like this one, you can see during this particular quarter, they scored 96%. This one was for quarter one. Then if we go back and try to open for quarter two, they scored 77%. And again, in case you do not receive an email, when you log back to your portal, you will be able to see what you scored after the council have reviewed. So let me log into that portal. So as you can see now, you can see quarter one during 2021-2022, quarter one you scored 96%, quarter two you scored 77.14%. So that is about the mainstreaming portal. Any question?
Thank you very much, Mr. Isanya. We have quite a number of questions from the Q&A. And let me see where we had. There is Robert Bolter was asking, on the reporting portal, Isanya indicated that we report on actors in our implementation matrix. Who are those actors? Maybe you could explain on that, Mr. Isanya.
Actors, actually, I will ask Mr. Muturi to clarify for them who are the actors. On the implementation matrix.
Dennis? As we wait for Dennis to come on board, we have Dr. Apofi. She's asking, do we submit our annual work plan on this reporting portal? The annual work plan was not part of the, it is not part of the ones that are being evaluated, but it is good enough, so it is better if it was to be submitted, so that at least we can see how you gave yourself, or what timeline you had given yourself. Brian Waboba, do you have plans to sensitize HR officers for MDAs on the Fuzu portal? That one I had replied. We usually have onboarding sessions, and that portal is quite different from this one. So that is another issue every Thursday, but you have to write a request to ncpwd@fuzu.com. The email address is provided in the indicator. Then Brian Aholi from UNESCO is asking, can more than one PDF file be uploaded for a single indicator? What's the maximum size of document capacities allowed for upload? Mr. Isanya, that one you can tell us. Isanya.
Actually, you can upload more than one PDF for a single indicator. Let me demonstrate. Maybe like we want to file for quarter 3. When you come to supporting evidence, you can select 3. As you can see, it has selected 3 files. So you can upload more than one file for a single indicator.
Thank you very much.
As long as they are PDF.
As long as, I didn't hear that, the last bit
as
of
long
your...
as the file format is PDF. You only accept PDF formats.
Okay. Then from rural electrification, will we be reporting on procurement and as part of the targets for the year? Definitely, it is part of the targets for the year, so you'll be reporting on procurement. But you have to realize that the procurement is just the quota that is given to persons with disabilities. The percentage, that is what we need to see, and you can you still upload the documents. Sarah Kamau, Sarah Kamau has given us, you can use 479480. I don't think that one was meant for this forum, and if it was meant for this forum, Sarah kindly explain all to familiar. Then suppose no employment took place in MDA during the financial year, how do you report? You will report on the already existing employees with disabilities. Let us see the percentage. Then Karen Mogambi is asking, could you please go back and explain on the user module? Because I checked in a bit rate kindly. Let's see whether, let's first finish with the questions. Then Mr. Isanya, you can go back and help Caroline understand the first module.
Can I intervene on the actors? Jen, please, can I intervene on the actors? The question that was asked earlier. Now, the actors will mean that in your department, for example, you have said who is going to employ persons with disabilities. You, of course, indicate it is the HR, or you indicate the person who is going to do whatever you're going to do. For example, you have said that you're going to put ramps in your entry to the administration building, for example. Who is going to do that? That is what we mean by actors. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis, for that. I hope the person has understood. Ivy Anyango, I sent the request to have my institution's account created, but I haven't received any feedback yet, Ivy, from Kenya Cultural Center. We are going to start opening the accounts as soon as we finish this training. So that is why we have not opened any account, because we wanted everyone to understand. Then who does Boniface, or we know who does the accessibility and usability audit? The focal persons or the council? That should be the council. The council is the one mandated to train, mandated to do the accessibility audits. So before you undertake any of those exercises, kindly let us have your request and we are going to act on it. Those ones are from the Q&A, and we have a lot more from the chat box. Just give me a second so that I can go to the chat box. Edna Koite, after the training, please share with us the presentation so that we share with our DMC who are not able to join us. You can see what you can do about that. Then just give me a second. For purposes of requesting for account creation, would an email service, or must we do a hard copy? An email would service. You can also do a letter, then just scan and send it to us. We'll act on it. Then Jacob Kimwele, I did send the letter to you for the purpose of account creation. I didn't receive any response. We are going to respond after this training. Then Leah Macharia is asking, hey, hi, did I hear that we need to send a letter to request for credentials to the system? Can you repeat this? Yes, you need to send either a letter or an email specifying exactly who the account is going to be open for, so that at least we can have, so that we don't have back and forth. Put the person, the email addresses, whatever is needed. Another person is asking whether an email would service, and I said yes. Then someone wanted me to share the addresses, that I did. Boniface is saying that we were not through with work plan submission. As Mr. Isanya has, when you're putting the contact person, you can also put your work plan, because as he said, you have up to, Isanya, you said up to 3 files you can upload?
Yeah, you can upload more than one PDF.
You can upload more than one PDF, so you can upload that one as you're giving us the focal point, the focal person. Then Jane Joki, I answered you. You asked the onboarding training done every Thursday. Does it always take care of only those who have never been trained, or is it a continuing process? If it is continuous, how do you bring the new entrants up to speed with others? It's not a continuous, it's a one-off. And for that person who wants to be onboarded, you have to put a post at ncpwd@fuzu.com, which is quite different from whatever we are looking at today. Then Anne Meriti is asking, what if due to unavoidable circumstances, example, availability of funds, you're not able to carry out the activities of quarter 1 or quarter 2, but you do them in quarter 3 or quarter 4. Please guide on how we report in the portal. Maybe Dennis would want to take that one.
Please repeat the question.
What if due to unavoidable circumstances, example, availability of funds, you are not able to carry out the activities of quarter 1 or quarter 2, but you do them in quarter 3 or quarter 4. Please guide on how we report in the portal. Helen of Tivet Sidak.
I think you can still report in the sense that the activities that you have for first quarter, if you're not able to do them, you give them a reason, you give a reason in the first quarter, then in the subsequent quarters when you're implementing, you will just submit the results and it will be shown, because you shall have given a reason in the first quarter for not performing or for not doing a specific activity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Then Robert also is saying, Robert Bolter, I'm confused. What is the relation with what we imported? Whatever we imported, that is the Excel sheet. What was it for? That is when we lost Isanya. Mr. Isanya, just talk to us about the importation of the files.
Importation of the files. Actually, the Excel sheet was used to assist us to populate the PC targets. Unfortunately, once you have submitted for a particular financial year, it doesn't load the matrix. But maybe I can create another account, then demonstrate with that account, because the PC matrix is a combination of around 60 items which you have to fill. So we deemed it necessary to have a way you can work offline. Then once the offline version, which is an Excel version, is well filled, we just import into the system within a matter of a minute, and we are sorted, rather than filling the PC matrix, which is around 60 items, because it will take you a lot of time and you might experience power failure or maybe internet shortages. So importation is used to import PCs instead of just typing the matrix.
So you can either work on it from the system, or you can either work on it from out of the system, then you bring it on board. Isanya?
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, thank you. I hope, Robert, you've been helped. Who should be the administrator or the champion? It is you to decide who is going to be reporting, and that should be the champion, the person that we talked about, the person who will be reporting in the portal. And as we said, you can be 3 of you, so that at least, but you make sure that at least whatever you're doing is in harmony. There's some Janet Kerubo has asked, does this include attaches, interns, and casuals? Any person with disability employed in your organization, you should put it, regardless of whether it's a casual, it's an attaché, because by the end of the day, you'll show the maybe the date that that person was employed. Then Agnes Mongi, in cases where the council certificates are unable to be validated, what would be the way forward? I don't understand what certificates. All you're talking about certificates of these certificates of AGPO. If they are not validated, then that means that that person has maybe that one should be taken up from the council. Maybe Jogona, you would want to take that one on the AGPO certificates.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that question.
In cases where the council certificates are unable to be validated, what would be the way forward? I don't understand why Agnes has talked about the council certificate, but I was getting that it was the AGPO certificate.
Okay, yes, because as a council, we don't have certificates per se, but we work closely with AGPO in validating during the registration for AGPO. So in that case, there is a verification system on the AGPO website for any certificate that you suspect is suspicious, for all certificates that were issued after 2019. So it's very possible to validate that certificate on that portal.
Thank you. Then Genjuki is asking, do you report only newly employed or you include all persons with disabilities? You are going to include all persons with disabilities. Then Immaculate is asking, we are required to achieve 5% of new employment by the end of the financial year for an MDA to score. What if the given financial year the MDA does not employ new staff? As Dennis has commented, you're just going to indicate that there was no employment that financial year. Where do we record the already existing persons with disabilities in the organizations? I believe that one was handled adequately by Sanya, showing where you're supposed to input the details of the person with disabilities employed in your organization. Then Caroline Hasero, what if the organization did not employ during the quarter? That one I've already tackled. Supposing a person with disability leaves service, do you delete the records? Are you going to wait until the next financial year? Then you do not report on that particular person with disability who has left the service. Then Brian Aholi, your presentation is frozen. Okay, sorry. Mary Muhaki is asking, so do we key in this? Do we key this online or in the imported Excel? I believe Isanya adequately handled that. Diana Otieno is saying, please revisit how to prepare and submit a work plan. Kindly, Isanya, take note of that so that we can go back. Should the accessibility audit be carried out every year? No, you can carry accessibility audit this year, then put a work plan on how you're going to do the implementations as per the recommendations in the report. Elizabeth Aduma, I think the question is what happens when you're unable to carry out an activity in a certain quarter due to unavoidable circumstances, but then make up for it in subsequent quarters. I think that one has been handled adequately by Dennis. You just state the reason, then you report it in the next quarter. Jane Joki, you're asking on the sensitization of staff. Can the focal person do it? How long would it take to sensitize top management? You request to the council. for sensitization or any training that you would want to undertake. While submitting, that is from Boniface, while submitting report for AGPO, supposing we have individual suppliers whom companies are registered, then that person does not belong there. You have to get registered with AGPO, and you must have that card, and I mean that certificate, and the number can be verified by the way Daniel has said. We can verify through the ministry. Oh, sorry, my internet was a bit unsteady. I went off briefly. Hope you can hear me, Daniel. Isanya, maybe you can mute for some time.
Okay, let me mute.
Thank you. Where were we? We were in where we were talking about if an organization is not an organization, a company is not registered at the AGPO, then that one we can't take, because we are looking at organizations organizations that are owned by persons with disabilities. Okay, and me see where I was. Javan Muiti is asking, can we include appointment of disability mainstreaming champion or focal person? Your question looks like it's hanging because the appointment of disability focal person, that is a sub-indicator by itself, and you should upload the letter as per the way Mr. Isanya was explaining to us. Where do we report the interns and students with persons with disabilities? That is Caroline Hasero. We still report them in the portal. Then I talked about if there was no employment within the financial year, just let it be. But also when you are reporting on the joining in the career portal, you must show some activities within the portal as explained with the notes. Is there a deadline for submission? That is from Anderson. Is there a deadline for submission, and what happens with the system if the deadline dies? And it doesn't die, it elapses. Maybe when the deadline is passed, you will. Mr. Isanya, maybe kindly take that one. Do we have after 15th, can any person be able to input anything in the portal? Because you have a deadline of 15th of every month after the quarter ends. As he comes on board, Anderson, that one we are going to put it pending.
I was saying,
yes.
Currently the system allows you to submit after the time has elapsed.
Yes.
But once we have the system will be more stable.
Yes.
We will have to tighten the system to only allow before 15th of October for quarter one.
Okay.
And yeah.
Thank you very much. Anderson, I hope you've heard that. That right now is a bit open until we upgrade it. In what format? In which format do we submit the work plan? You just do a work plan on we have the format for the work plan from previous quarters. That is just what you're going to change, the changes in the targets, in the sub indicators. Then you put it in PDF and upload it. Immaculate, this financial year seems you are not required to hold DMC meetings and forward minutes. What there is that we have, the assumption is that the DMC is still in place. It's not that, so now it is you who will be knowing when to hold meetings, but it's not a requirement in this particular year. Then, most people want the presentation to be shared. Then kindly clarify on the issues of accessibility audits done by other private organizations, or is it strictly by the council who should carry out audits? That is Maura from WASREP. It's strictly council or someone who has been contracted by the council to do the accessibility audits. So that means that you'll have to liaise with the council when you want your accessibility audits done, so that if they are not readily available to do the accessibility audit, then they can give you someone who can do that for you. Then in cases where council certificate for staff living with disabilities that does not validate, what would be the way forward? Agnes Mwangi, your question is not very clear. Boniface Owino, should academic institutions include their students with disabilities in their reports? Not really, because unless we are talking on accessibility issues where it will come maybe in a report or something, but because now maybe we are talking, when you're talking about employment, that is, we need only those who are employed but not students. But if you are doing something for students with disabilities and it needs to come out in the report on where we are talking about on accessibility issues, what you've done for persons with disabilities, then that one is acceptable. Kim Ngetich, kindly share the recording. Kirema from Kabune, in case we recruit new members in the committee, who will we contact to offer the training? You still contact us. You can use the email addresses that I gave you there earlier, dmd@ncpwd.go.ke. Leah Masharia, you're asking how often should the accessibility audit be done? The accessibility audits can be done once in every 2 to 3 years, depending on your implementation plan, but do not go beyond 3 years. Jonathan Metet, you had said I had requested the previous one, however, I'm yet to receive it. That is the recording. Please clarify on the accessibility audit. I think that one I've talked on it. Emily Wasonga, once the DMC has been trained by the council, can the members carry out staff sensitization? We would, since sensitization will be online, we would wish to have still the council do the sensitization. Javan Muiti is asking, my point is, it should be either appointment of champion or focal person. What we had in presentation was only champion. The champion, the focal person, that is one person. So you can call the person the focal person, or you can call the person a champion. How can we help interns who have been working with us for a long time get employment in our organizations? That is Diana Otieno. I'm assuming you're talking about interns with disabilities. when we onboard you in the NCPWD career portal, there'll be a platform where organizations will upload the jobs that they have, and you can encourage that person to register with the portal and be going through the jobs as they come and see whether they will be able to get one. From rural electrification, someone is continuing with a sentence. I think she means if someone has an NCPWD card and cannot be validated, how do we know it's genuine? You just contact us and we'll tell you the genuine cards and the ones that may not be genuine. We are cleaning our system, so right now we'll be able to know who are genuine and who are not genuine. So I think I've come to the, okay, let me check whether we have other unanswered questions in the Q&A. Caroline Mugambi wanted Isanya to go back and explain on the user module. That one, Isanya is going to do that for us after I finish. Sarah Kenyajui is asking, on the procurement, we can only upload the company business number from AGPO of our company procurement department. Sarah, kindly put in a way that we can understand. Nancy Atamba, accessibility audit was carried out in June. So far, we haven't received a report. That one we can contact. We can contact us so that we can see the person who did the accessibility audit and see where they are at. Then Owen's Galaxy. Owen from Moi University asking, how do we report focal person when we already have the office of the director and staff working on disability mainstreaming? The focal person, that contact person, will enable us to, when we want anything or when you want to report on anything, that will be the person who we will be dealing with, so that at least we can have continuity in reporting in whatever issues that come up. At least we'll have one person who will be able to help us get the answers. That one, I hope you've picked it, Isanya. Owens Galaxy is asking, does the directorship position equals to focal person or champion? No, look for one person, maybe from the committee, and let them have that responsibility of being the contact person with the council. Thank you very much. Over to you. Then the other person. The person, could you please, Isanya, over to you.
Okay, let me repeat on the user module and the TC target. So I'm going to start with the user module. The user module is used to add. Let me share the screen. So user module is used to add users from your organization who will be accessing your organization account. The system allows you to add more than one user so that in case one person is not around, the other one can log in and report. So to add a user, you go to users, then you click add new user. The form for adding new user will be loaded, where you will have to input your full names, name of the person, the email of the person, telephone number, the branch, then the password, and you confirm the password. In case your organization has more than one branch, you just have to add the branch. Under user, there is a place for list of branches. You click list of branches and you will have the button for adding new branch. So let me add like test branch. So we are going to add one user under test branch. So when you are adding a user, you specify the name, the email, telephone, then you assign the branch, then the password, and you confirm the password. Then you click create so that you can be able to create that account. Once the account has been created, you can reset the password or edit the details for that person. So that's about users. Then we have the PC targets. When you go to PC targets, each of the financial years you will have to set the target for your MDA by clicking set targets. Then the matrix will be loaded for you so that you can fill the matrix. So as you can see, the matrix is very long in such a manner that you have to input the expected output, activities, performance indicator for that particular target, the type of resource you need, the actors, the budget, and the implementation time frame. So you have to fill for all the 7 indicators in the system. After you have filled, then you will have to click. If you click complete when save as is draft, it means you still need to edit that target so that you can submit it later. But if you click submit, it will be submitted to the council without even giving you an option for editing in case of errors. So by default, the system is under a draft so that in case you inputted it wrong, you can update before submitting it. Then we have said because of the power issues and internet, filling the entire matrix might take a lot of time and maybe it might get lost. So as a remedy, we decided to come up with a targets template where you can download the template, fill the template, and once the template has been filled, you import it back to the system. And to import the template back to the system, you have to go to import, then you will read the import instructions where we are saying it's only CSV, XLS, or Excel file that can be imported. No PDFs are allowed. Then a maximum of 5,000 records on each file will be uploaded to prevent server timeouts. The header of the sheet should be as labeled on the template. Then please download the template from the link. So there is the download link. When you click on it, you will be able to download that template. Let me open the template. So this is the template whereby it has listed the indicator, expected output, activities that are involved, the performance indicator, the type of resources needed, who will be the actors, the budget, the time frame, and the financial year. Once the template is well filled, you then import it to the system. So I'm going to import the template. Then you click import. So by default, when you import the template, it will save the indicators as pending submission, so that in case it has successfully imported and you need to change something, you can still go back and set targets, which will load whatever you have imported to the system so that you can update where you want. Then once you are satisfied, you mark it as submit and you complete. So once you have completed, you have submitted the target or you have pressed the complete while the save as is submit, you will not be able to update the targets. What is remaining is just for you to be filing the quarterly reports. And for you to file a quarterly report, you go to mainstreaming quarterly reports. Under the mainstreaming quarterly report, you select the financial year you want to report for, which quarter, and you load the target for that quarter. Under the target for that quarter, you state if the target was implemented or the indicator was implemented. Then you give us the supporting document, maybe appointment letter, then you can attach that appointment letter as evidence, and again you can attach more than one file. Then you can add more remarks, but if it was not implemented, on the officer's remarks you may give the reason why it was not implemented, maybe lack of budget, maybe due to COVID-19. So you give the reason so that when the council is reading it, they are able to see the reason why maybe that particular indicator was not implemented as you had promised them. So I'm going to submit, and for the purpose of submitting, I'm going to have one is implemented and the other one is not implemented and give the reason. So as you can see, the system currently is still insisting you give the supporting document. Maybe you might write a letter explaining maybe the reasons. If you have more than one reason that cannot fit here, then you attach that letter so that the council can be able to read it as the evidence. Then you click the button for completing so that you can submit the target, the quarterly report to the council. So again, if you go and try to look if a way to verify if you have submitted your quarterly report, you just load the financial year and the particular quarter. Maybe you can try with quarter one, you try loading the targets. In case you have not submitted, they will load, but if you have submitted, nothing will be loading. It will show you that no data is available. But if you go for quarter two, you can see you have not submitted it, so you have to submit it. So that is about the user module and the targets, the PC targets. So allow me to log in as admin administrator so that I can be able to review what I've just submitted. So this is what I've submitted, what was submitted, then you go and so this is what was submitted. As you can see, the first indicator or target, you attach two documents. If you click on each of them, you are able to preview. Then the council will award you marks like, say, maybe they might give you all the 2.5, and the 10. Then they will give you some remarks, and they will mark it as reviewed. So once the council has reviewed your quarterly report, you will get an email notification. And again, if you log into your portal, you will be able to see. So I'm still waiting for the email. As you can see, I've received the notification, and you are able to know that during that particular quarter, what you scored. For instance, this one scored 100% because he was given all the marks on that. So again, let me log in as that MDA to see what is on their dashboard. So as you can see, they have only reported for quarter one, and they can see during quarter one, since they did everything as promised, the council has awarded them 100%. So once they will submit for quarter two again, they will see what the council will have awarded them. So that at the end of the financial year, we are able to know what they scored throughout that particular financial year and by quarter. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Isanya. I can see a few hands up in the attendees panel. I'm going to allow Boniface to ask his question. Boniface, if you are there, kindly ask your question.
My issue was resolved, so I really appreciate the presentation.
Kindly be a bit loud. We can't hear you clearly.
Okay, my issue was already resolved. So but I take this opportunity to thank the presenters. Actually, they have shared good information.
Okay, thank you very much. We have also Leah Masharia. Leah Masharia. You have any question? Your hand is up. I think Leah is not with us. Any other question? You can put your hand up. You can raise your hand. Yes, Samuel Ogeda. Go ahead.
Yes. Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Samuel.
Are you getting me?
Yes.
I'm wondering if I sent an email for creating an account because I need to register the institution for this. But up to now, I haven't seen any login details or password or user ID. So I'm wondering which direction are you taking?
As indicated earlier by my colleague Jane, we had paused creating accounts until we had one of this last session so that everybody was clear on what they need to do, so that now we can start proceeding with creating the accounts. So the request will be responded to by the department as they come in. So, but we had halted creating accounts until this session was done. Thank you. Yes, Leah, are you back with us? Leah Masharia? Okay, not there. So I'll hand it over back to you, Jane and Dennis, if there's anything that you need to indicate as we wind up the session.
Thank you very much, Daniel, for that. There is a question here from Lydia. I checked in a bit late. Please clarify the duties of the focal person. Must she be a person with disability? Not necessarily. The focal person is just the liaison person, the one we can get to if we need to ask a question from your organization, and someone who may be, most probably should be in the committee, so that at least we know that it's someone who is who has the knowledge on disability issues. So the liaison person, their work will be just that, liaising with the council, and for us to be able to in case of any queries, any questions, we are able to get in touch with such a person.